I'm just gonna hurt you. Really, really bad.
Whoa, how about that? Kind of a scary start here to episode 8 of Hashtag Dork. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, I'm your host, Rich Keefe, and joining me once again this week, none other than Ryan Davey. Davey, how are you, sir?
Feels great to be back. I'm having a great day.
That's terrific. Now, we're a few days removed from Comic-Con, but I think the whole world is still aflutter from everything that took place out in San Diego this past weekend. So I want to discuss some of the trailers, some of the news and notes that came out of Comic-Con, and then also we'll round back into Arkham Knight. We, of course, did an episode. You can check it out in the archives, I guess, of before. I guess I had played for a few hours. Davey had not played. Now we have both played for several hours. And
Forever.
For a long time. You more than me, but we can get into that in a second. How do you want to start? Because Comic-Con obviously had a lot going on. Do you want to look at DC stuff, Marvel stuff, or I guess what we would call other? There's a lot of TV show trailers and things like that.
I'm going to start with DC today. A departure from what you'd think I would normally do. I'm going to start with DC today.
I think they were a lot better. I think they had more of a presence, and I think they have more exciting movies, at least to promote.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at any, that's why I wanted to start with them. I would say, you look around the interwebs and stuff. You look on the Googler, and everybody's just raving about what DC is doing and how they won the whole week at Comic-Con and stuff. And some of the stuff looks pretty impressive.
I think so. Let's start with Suicide Squad, because that's where the little sounder that we played at the beginning is from.
Yeah.
Immediate reaction to Jared Leto, because we obviously saw that still picture. It was very polarizing, actually more negative than positive. I was ready to give this guy a chance. He's a terrific actor. Yeah. And I remember when they announced Heath Ledger, and I was like, Heath Ledger? I'm like, this guy's going to be the Joker? And then he was amazing. So right. Jared Leto, I want to see how he does. Now that we actually saw him kind of talking and stuff, I think he looks pretty creepy. I think he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and the whole thing is, he's been around for a while, and meaning the Joker character he's playing, and there's been these weird stories coming out from the set where he's been so method in what he's doing. He actually gave Margot Robbie, who plays Harley Quinn, he gave her a rat.
Yeah, I heard that.
At one point, you heard that?
Yeah, what are you doing there, guy?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like this incredible method thing, and they had a therapist on set just in case he lost his mind. Like he was that deep into it. So, I mean, when you hear stuff like that, I mean, he's coming in hot with his, Oscar win and stuff.
I would say so.
I mean, so this is his next big thing after, Dallas Buyers Club. And,
yeah.
I think he's trying to prove something here. So I was very skeptical of Suicide Squad going into Comic-Con. I thought it was going to be like, and what I really like is they're kind of downplaying Will Smith a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And it's probably because his last, handful of movies have all been horrible.
Right, but he's the biggest name in this whole thing.
Yeah.
And he's kind of taking a back seat here, which I think is the right thing to do.
Which makes sense. I mean, you're not going to really build your whole movie around Deadshot.
No.
Joker's the star. I think everybody, especially, comic book fans, are dying to see Harley Quinn, non-animated version. And right. I think Margot Robbie's going to be pretty good. Nice scene in the trailer of her in a cage, almost like a Hannibal Lecter-like cage, and she's doing gymnastics in there. So she's going to be sweet. I think the Suicide Squad is cool. And it's funny because this also goes back to episode 1 that we did of Hashtag Dork about the DC villains are so much better than the Marvel villains, or at least I'm way more interested in them. And then by evidence of they can do a whole movie based around just the villains.
Just villains, right?
And I wonder how Will Smith is going to be. Like, are they just kind of downplaying him in the trailer, or do you think he's also going to be 1/8 of the screen time or whatever it works out to be?
Well, I think what they're doing is kind of, and not to give away another twist here, but like they did in the last Avengers where they made Hawkeye kind of a family guy.
Yeah.
I think they're doing that. They're kind of cleaning up Deadshot a little bit. He's not just the psychopath sniper. Like he actually, he has a reason for doing what he's doing, and at least that's what I'm getting from the early reports and stuff.
Interesting.
So he's like the least bad of the bad guys kind of thing, which is right up Will Smith's alley because he raps about, respecting women. And
Will Smith doesn't have to cuss in his.
No, he doesn't.
To sell records.
No.
Yeah, I also wonder what storyline they go with and how closely it's going to be associated with Batman v Superman, which is obviously another one we're going to talk about. But because Batman v Superman comes out in March and Suicide Squad comes out in August, so they're both coming out next year. And do you think they're going to sort of, can you watch them back to back? You think and be like, oh, this is sort of the sequel for it, or I wonder how removed it's going to be because it seems just from the two trailers, from the two trailers alone, it looks like it's going to be pretty close.
Well, it all depends too. I mean, it all depends on because there are still a lot of question marks about Batman, Superman, like Dawn of Justice. There's still a lot of question marks. From our readings from your required reading.
That's correct.
That this is the mechanized kind of Batman suit is a big nod to The Dark Knight Returns. So, where does it fall in the timeline? With all of that stuff. So, it could be before, it could be after, but. I know that we all know that Affleck's making an appearance in Suicide Squad too. So
yeah, that's gonna be pretty sweet, and it makes some sense. You wonder what the whole who is the Suicide Squad gonna be targeting? Because one rumor that I saw was maybe it is Joker. Maybe it is all of them. I think was it El Diablo's in there, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, and a handful of others. Are they actually after Joker, and is it maybe after he killed Jason Todd, which I think would be a great angle to go with, a dead Robin. We did see the Robin suit in one of the Batman v Superman trailer.
Yeah.
We also, we don't know, again, that scene that clip that I played at the very start of this, we don't really know who he's talking to. It could be Jason Todd. It could be Harley Quinn. It could be Batman. It could be anybody. But potentially it could be Jason Todd before he kills him.
But see, this is where I think DC did a hell of a job this week with all this stuff because people are asking questions and people want to know more. And it's whether or not you think that the Jared Leto's Joker should be greeting you in the front of a Hot Topic is we're not going to worry about that right now because we want to see the rest of the movie.
I do, and I think the scariest part of the Joker or this version of the Joker, no eyebrows.
No, yeah.
Right?
Very unsettling to see someone without eyebrows.
And extremely pale, but that's okay. I'm also pale, so that doesn't really scare me. But the no eyebrows thing is a bit of a shock. But yeah, so Suicide Squad, I'm legit excited for, and I always was, and I'm just even more after watching that extended trailer. Batman v Superman, meanwhile, I did not think Man of Steel was great. I don't know how you felt about that movie.
No, it was. I know how I know I'm going to take some heat for this, but. I'm not a huge Superman fan.
I think that's fine.
He's boring. I think Superman's boring.
Yeah.
And I think he's not a very, and it's much like kind of like Captain America for me. Like he's very kind of milquetoast and very goody-goody and,
yeah,
all that stuff. And it'd be interesting to see what happens when he gets kind of pissed off. And I think that's what they're trying to play up now. It's kind of like got that dark. Everything was dark in that trailer.
Everything is dark because the Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan Batmans were dark and were great. Well, especially the first two. Everyone's like, these are what comic book movies are like. And I'm like, I guess.
Yeah.
Like they don't have to be.
No, they don't. But Batman is inherently a dark character.
He is.
So I think that's going to be good. I'm not. What's the big question mark? The big X factor for me is whether or not. Wonder Woman and Aquaman and The Flash and all these people are going to have these huge roles in this movie, and if they're going to be able to flesh that out.
I know, because that's a lot of characters. That's what a lot of these comic book movies have had a hard time doing. That's why Avengers is so good. That's one of the rare movies that can have so many characters, and you still get a story, you still get dialogue with all of them, you still get action moves from all of them. I wonder, what they're going to do, like you said, with Wonder Woman. We see her briefly in the trailer. We did not see Aquaman, but there is a scene in the water, so you don't know if they're going down to talk with Khal Drogo there. I don't know, and it's interesting too because they do show you the scene where Metropolis is getting blown up basically from Man of Steel, and then you find out that Bruce Wayne was there that day. So I like that stuff. Like I like when they really overlap the movies,
right?
And
sort of holding the little girl, and you see the thing that says Wayne Financial behind him. And, I like stuff like that.
Like that is pretty sweet, and I also think. And maybe I'm just being very positive, but I know Ben Affleck, people were up in arms when they found out he was going to be Batman. I think he'll be fine. And especially because they're going, like you said, Dark Knight Returns, they're going with an older Batman. He's got the gray in the hair. I think he's going to be a fine Batman.
Yeah, what a great guy to do it. Just kind of a brooding kind of mentality. You know, no, but I think it's going to be good. I think he's the right age. I think he's got the right look. You know, he's definitely got a Batman chin.
Batman chin is there.
Yeah.
Also, the news that he's going to direct a solo Batman film after this. Like, say what you want about him as an actor. Like, I happen to think he's fine. He's a pretty good director. Like, he doesn't put out crap films. So if he takes that and puts that into Batman, I think that's pretty exciting.
No, I'm excited about that. I'm actually I think, you know, DC is now slightly ahead of Marvel. And I think so we can segue into that and talk about Marvel's week.
Yes.
And I think I honestly think the biggest sigh of relief I breathed was when I saw it was a bootleg version of it, so I'm interested to see the high def.
Yep.
But Deadpool
is
going to be the huge X factor for them.
Loved it.
And it's because, you know, I feel like they've gotten really squeaky clean with what they do. You know, everything's PG-13, and now, you know, like Guardians of the Galaxy was awesome.
It was.
I'm hearing good things about Ant-Man. I haven't seen Ant-Man yet, obviously.
No.
But it's, you know, it's funny and it kind of doesn't take itself too seriously. And now Deadpool, from what I've heard and from what I heard about people on the panel and stuff like that, is completely off the rails.
I mean, just that trailer, and I probably saw the same one you did, you know, some bootleg version on YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, just the 2-3 minute trailer, they're swearing like a Tarantino movie. There's going to be blood and guts everywhere.
And Ryan Reynolds said there's going to be, and I quote, a very athletic sex scene.
Yeah, now I'm in.
Now I'm sold.
Now I'm in. If I wasn't before, I am now.
Because that guy is a dream. What a hunk.
Forget about it. Combines good looks and a sense of humor.
Oh, what a hunk.
Oh, Blake Lively hit the jackpot. It's funny, too, because he goes from Wolverine Origins there and played Deadpool, and that movie was horrible. Everything about it was bad. And then he's still playing the same character. But at least this time, they got it right. Because I don't know if the reports were true or not, but they're like, he didn't want to wear the mask before. And you're like, you can't be Deadpool and not wear the mask.
Right.
And so now in this movie, he clearly is.
No, and it's awesome. And I think, you know, I don't think people had a problem with him playing Deadpool. I don't think that was the issue. I think, you know, like you said, the Origins movie with Wolverine had its own issues, but it wasn't him.
Right.
You know,
it wasn't his fault, but he didn't really add much to it.
No.
Who's in bigger need of a box office hit? Is it Will Smith or Ryan Reynolds?
That's a good question. Because he just had that Selfless movie that just came out that just flopped.
It made $5 million opening weekend.
Yeah.
That's insane. Minions made 115.
Yeah, that just flopped. So I mean, he needs a win here.
And it's more on him, right? Because, like, at least with Will Smith, if Suicide Squad's bad, which I don't think that it will be, but if it doesn't get a big audience, that's not all on Will Smith. There's other big stars. But in Deadpool, that is all on Ryan Reynolds. And is that the first rated R comic book movie, at least in a long time?
In a long time, one that's going to be, like, so ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, I think Watchmen was R. Just correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was, with the nudity and the violence and the swearing and what have you. I think Watchmen.
There was a digital pee-pee in that.
There was.
Let's see if that got the R rating.
Swinging to and fro.
You're correct. That was an R rating. Good call.
Okay. Good. So
it had to be.
Other than that,
Dr. Manhattan walking around without pants.
With his dingus all over the place.
Just everywhere. All right, but yeah, it's pretty a bold take, but I think they're doing it right because to me it felt like when they made, you know, Deadpool is one of my favorite characters, and so is the Punisher. And when they made the Punisher movie, I was like, all right, here we go. And they're like, PG-13. I was like, what? Like, you can't make a good Punisher movie, I don't think, PG-13.
No. And what's awesome is that, you know, the guy who played Shane in The Walking Dead is now playing the Punisher in the Daredevil series.
Right, so they're adding him to the mix, which will be great.
That's awesome. Because that was breathtaking, that series.
That is nice.
Moving on.
Other Marvel notes. X-Men Apocalypse. Did you see Apocalypse?
Yeah, I saw that.
What do you think he looks? How do you think he looks?
Looks good. I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, but you know, they always come correct with the set design, the costume designs, and all that stuff.
They do a pretty good job.
Yeah, and you see Olivia Munn in her latex outfit.
That's nothing wrong there.
Machi.
Yes, sir.
So that's good for their Psylocke character. That's good.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to, keep this going because they've really just built on it. First Class I thought was really good, and then Days of Future Past might be my favorite Marvel movie, or if it's not, it's right in the mix.
That was good. That was really good.
And so now, based off of that one, they can sort of go in any direction they want.
Well, apparently this one's set in 1983, so we're going to get like that 80s feel to it. Yeah, so I'm excited to see that. Teenage Jean Grey played by Sansa Stark.
Yeah.
So that should be good.
That will be good. I'm interested to see. The problem with a guy like Apocalypse, though, is, when you start to get into characters that basically have every power, and it might be one of the same kind of things as Superman, you're like, all right, like this is obviously you're going there, you're going to let your imagination run wild, but the guys that are like everything proof, it's sometimes it can be a bit much.
Yeah, I mean, I went, when that came out, I had to brush up, so I opened the Marvel Wiki app on my phone, and I look at, and it's like, how much stuff can you give a guy? Like, how powerful? Like, other than Galactus, who literally eats planets.
Just eats planets.
Like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to do this? So, but I mean, it all depends. I mean, you have good writers, you have a good director, you have people who are comfortable with, doing that kind of thing. And
because you like, if you're gonna have these movies where you have the big teams like all the X-Men or all the Avengers, like they can't go up against Lex Luthor because he's just a dude. Like, I mean, I guess he gets that machine later, but like it would be a little overkill if you're like, all right, Avengers, mount up. Like that human over there, we need to take him down.
Let's get him.
It's like, let the police get him.
He's a real jerk.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine. Just call the Gotham City Police Department, and we'll take care of it. So that's what you're running into. Like Thanos, when we see Thanos, it's another guy who's just an otherworldly creature.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for X-Men, but I think you're right. I mean, I usually gravitate more towards Marvel, although I think in the comic book world, DC, because Batman has so many good ones, he sort of lends himself to, if they choose the right kind of material, they can have some great movies. And it looks like finally they're going to do that this coming year.
Yeah. And, there's some other good things coming out, too. And I'll tell you the one thing that if the superhero movie bubble is ever going to burst, it is going to land on the shoulders of Fantastic Four.
Holy crap. Why are they doing that? I mean, I guess it's all these stupid rights. They got to get the movie back. I think if they don't make the movie, they lose the rights and the characters or something like that.
Yeah. And then you wind up with something like The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2, because Sony didn't want to lose the rights to the character.
Ugh.
But I mean, it's one of the. I just think that if ever there was going to be a flop for one of these movies, that's going to be it.
Are you going to see it?
I mean, I have, and I think we talked about this the last time I saw you. Like, I have to. I'm so in it now.
Oh yeah.
That like I have to see, because they're all connected. You know what I mean? Like,
there's two separate universes though.
Right.
And so Fantastic Four, correct me if I'm wrong, they could now be in the X-Men universe, right?
Yes, it depends on the studio who's making it and who has the rights. And I haven't looked at the fine print yet, but
yeah. Whereas, Avengers is in the same realm now as Spider-Man, and
yeah. But Sony gets a nice little kickback, and there was the whole thing where they used the X-Men movies used Quicksilver, and then Avengers used them, but they didn't call him by name in the Avengers. They never called him Quicksilver.
Right.
And he didn't wear anything silver. You know what I mean? So it was like these weird loopholes that they have.
Yeah, but that was for those two specific characters, I think. Yeah, and one of them they couldn't make reference to him being a mutant, because then the mutant's a whole other thing, and that's why Marvel Studios is doing the movie Inhumans in 2019, because then they can get around it. So basically, we don't need to spend a lot of time on this, but it's basically 20th Century Fox and Marvel Studios. And so all the ones, the Captain Americas, all the Avengers, Ant-Man, Thor, the whole crew, Guardians of the Galaxy, are all Marvel Studios. 20th Century Fox is all the X-Men, it's Deadpool, and it's the new, likely terrible Fantastic Four.
Yes.
And then, so piggybacking off of that, there's another rumor that came out from the weekend, is that Hugh Jackman said the last time he plays Wolverine, which he's already played him like 7 times or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The last time is going to be in Old Man Logan, which is a graphic novel that we have both read.
Yep.
That's exciting, but again, I think there's loopholes here, because without getting into we don't really need to spoil the whole book if you haven't read it, but 2 of the other big characters in it are Hawkeye and Hulk. both belonging to Marvel Studios and not 20th Century Fox. So they're going to have to figure out a way around that.
Which, and again, not to give anything away, but, Bruce Banner, the Hulk, is like a pivotal person in that book.
Yes.
And if all like the dozen people listening to this right now, if you haven't read Old Man Logan, please do so.
Yeah, it's good.
It's up. I would say in my graphic novels, it's top 5.
Really?
Oh yeah.
It is good. It's a completely different take. I really liked it, and it's Mark Miller, right, who also did Civil War and a whole bunch of other ones.
Yeah, and it's super cool, and it's just all these cool things that happen.
It is cool.
He's a genius.
Yep.
But yeah, and I think Marvel's good catching up to do here. They have their squeaky clean family Disney movies that need a kind of kick in the ass.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to get it next year with Batman versus Superman and Suicide Squad and all these movies coming out. I think this is kind of a wake up call for them. They're a little bit behind now.
All right, let me ask you this, and this might be tough to do on the fly, but if you had to rank, I want to throw 5 movies at you.
Okay.
And you have to prioritize them. Like, say they were all playing at the same time. And
All right.
You had to go 1 through 5. Let's go with X-Men Apocalypse, Captain America Civil War, Deadpool, Batman v Superman, and Suicide Squad.
Which one do I have to see first?
Yeah, what order would you see them in?
Oh, no. All right, so I'm going to put X-Men Apocalypse 5th.
Okay, fair.
I'm going descending order.
I love that.
Okay, I'm putting that 5th because it's we'll see because I want to see what happens with that.
Okay, that's fair.
And then the next one you said, so the last 4 are Deadpool.
Yep. Captain America Civil War, and then the
Yep.
2 DC ones that we just talked about.
So then it's going to go Deadpool. It's going to go 4.
Okay.
Then it's going to be Batman versus Superman coming in 3rd.
Yep.
Suicide Squad. I think Civil War is going to be huge.
Yeah, I did too.
And I'm going to put that as that's kind of like you need to see that because that's Marvel's next thing.
Right.
But Suicide Squad is like 1A.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
I'm that excited.
I'm telling you, all 5 of them I'm pumped about. Those 5 I think are all going to be amazing. I think also in 2016 you're going to get Gambit and Doctor Strange, and I would put I'd put those lower on the list. I'll see them all. I'm a sucker for it, but all 5 of those are great. And because the thing is, you're following up Captain America: Winter Soldier, which was amazing, and you're following up The Last X-Men, which was amazing. So you want to see both of those sequels. Deadpool, we just talked about why that's going to be cool, and then the two DC ones. I mean, you could make an argument for any one of those in any order. I think.
Yeah, you could, and it all depends on what gets you going. And
yeah.
For me, it's all sex, drugs, and rock and roll for me.
Sure it is.
Anytime we get into that, I'm in.
Sure, sure you do.
But if there's going to be like a John Hughes Breakfast Club X-Men, we'll see. And I would say the bottom 3 for me are going to be Fantastic Four.
Ugh.
It's going to be like 1, 2, and 3. I'm just not excited about that at all.
Are you going to see Ant-Man this weekend?
Probably maybe not this weekend, but I'm gonna definitely get in there as soon as I can.
I think I might see it. I think I might see it soon, and then I might flip it around. I might do a podcast on that. If you'd like to join me, that'd be great. If you want...
I love the podcast. I love hearing my own voice again and again.
Who doesn't love the pod? I did a solo podcast on Jurassic World. It was fine, but I think it's a lot better with another voice. They're like, he's not letting the other guy talk. This is horrible. Also from Comic-Con, and then we'll get to Batman Arkham Knight, which I know you invested a great deal of time in. 3 shows jumped out. Well, one sort of show that we've already seen is The Walking Dead. Season 6 is coming out, I think, in the fall?
Yes.
Like, I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. I've read all the comics. I'm finishing up volume 23 right now, which I think is the most that they've had. No, I just finished it. Excuse me. So I think I'm through with what they've written.
Okay.
So I love it. I always defend it, but it gets these crazy ratings. Like, it beats Sunday Night Football sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little overrated. Like, there's a lot of slow parts and storylines. Like, I really like it, but it's really, I think people think it might be better than it is.
Yeah, and I kind of got that in the last season.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, almost quit that show, and I'm sure some of our listeners are with me.
Yeah.
What's our swear level on this?
Swear level midnight. No, go for it.
Okay, so in like season 3, like, are you shitting me? You don't know where Carl is? So, like, who's watching Carl?
Somebody's got to keep an eye on Carl.
Yelling at the television, like, where the hell? Who's watching this kid?
I don't.
But yeah, but we've gotten away from that, and But,
well, you know what's funny is, it only applies to TV and movie, not real world. But in these kid actors, you just in movies and shows like this, you're rooting for all of them to die, and you're like, this is such a departure from real world where you want these kids to grow up and live a nice, beautiful life.
Yeah.
But then on the show, you're like, kill Carl. Somebody kill Carl. Move on.
If you're gonna walk off with your gun with a water bottle attached to it, you're gonna get killed.
Yeah.
So
every time.
Anyway.
Every time.
So I mean, that's kind of it's good. It's a good Sunday night watch for me. I'm not dying to see it. If I miss it, it's on DVR, and I'll watch it at my leisure. But I'm not going to kill myself to see. You know what I mean?
I do. And the frustrating thing to me is there's no end in sight because, again, the show is not exactly like the book. Like, there's characters that.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. So you're up to volume 23 in The Walking Dead. Right?
Yes.
Now, this original crew that we've dealt with in the comics has kind of been phased out, right? And there's like new people who come in.
Now, without getting into specifics, there's a decent amount of originals still around.
Yeah, but I mean, feasibly, you could phase people out and bring new people in.
You could, but there's a core there that is very much still the lead.
Okay. All right.
But there are characters there that were made just for the TV show.
Okay.
Like Daryl's not even in the comic book, so you have no idea what they're gonna do with it. But they do pick and choose. Yeah, wild card is right. And sometimes they also, they'll have one character that does something in the book. They'll have a different character do the exact same thing in the TV show. You know what I'm saying? So, again, you don't really know what they're doing. But so they're picking and choosing storylines. But my point is...
Yeah, I'm sure you talked about this with Shark, but they started doing that in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, that's what he said. But they're basically... I said there's 23 volumes. I want to say they're only at, 11 or 12, maybe.
Oh, boy.
So, if this show wanted to milk it and they're getting these great ratings, they could go for another 5-10 seasons, it feels like. I just hope they have an ending in sight because you can tell the TV shows that didn't have the ending already figured out and the ones that did.
Yeah, like Dexter?
I didn't see Dexter, but I heard the last season was just like a slap in the face to fans.
Yeah.
So
staying on the zombie kick.
Yeah.
And they're excited about Walking Dead. One of the things I saw coming out of Comic-Con that me and I am fired up about is Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Well, why don't you take a listen to this then? Oh, hold on 1 second. It failed me. Hold on 1 second.
Give it to me.
Here's the plan. We bust in there, fight through the carnage, let the boomstick do the talking. Things get hairy, use your bottle.
I don't think it's a very good weapon, Jefe. He had to stab 50 times.
Amazing. I'm excited. So a Stars show, which is random, but I recently got Stars, so now I'm on board. So let's go.
Now you're on board, yeah.
Let's go.
You know me. We used to do that where we would watch, Evil Dead 1, 2, and Army of Darkness in the night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ashamed to admit I'm not above doing that now in my adult years.
No, not at all. Although Evil Dead 1, I could, I own it, but I could do without.
Yeah, but
it's the original.
Yeah, you got. But Evil Dead 2 is amazing, and
Yeah.
Army of Darkness is probably one of my most favorite quotable movies.
Oh, it's incredible.
So I'm so excited for that, and it's Bruce Campbell's hilarious, and I'm super excited for that.
I think it'll be great.
Yeah.
Also,
hopefully it'll be great. Even if it isn't, I'm still watching it, and I'm going to tell everybody it's great. They can go kick sand if they don't like it.
Yeah, they can go crap in a hat if they don't like Ash versus Evil Dead. Real quick, Fear the Walking Dead. Are you gonna give that a shot?
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, I just I feel pretty tied up with TV right now, but I'm definitely willing to give that a shot. I mean, it's kind of a fresh take on it. Get some new blood in there.
And
no pun intended.
Yeah, true. What I do like about it is it's a lot more of the all right, what's happening at the beginning. because in Walking Dead it was Rick Grimes wakes up in a hospital. He's like, "Where is everybody?"
Yeah,
and,
we did the 28 days later thing.
Yeah, this is gonna be right in the thick of it. You're like, "Oh, I think that guy's sick." And you're like, "No, he's not sick." And then so there's gonna be a lot of that early on. So
yeah,
I think the trailer that they had at Comic-Con convinced me to watch it because when I first saw it and heard about it, I'm like, "Come on!" Like I've already seen how many episodes of the other one.
Not gonna watch this.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm in though.
Yeah.
All right, Batman: Arkham Knight.
Oh Jesus.
So we did. I think it was episode 4 or whatever it was. We did talking about the game before either of us had known who the Arkham Knight was.
Yeah.
So spoilers on this. If you haven't played Arkham Knight yet, or you don't want to know, all full spoilers now.
We're going full spoiler mode.
Full spoiler.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was definitely your first reaction. I thought that it might be him, but then I was like, well, there's gonna be a side story with Red Hood, so it can't be Jason Todd. But when it was revealed that Arkham Knight was Jason Todd, what did you think?
I was a little, over the course of the game, you start to piece it together. And, when he cracks his mask and it turns red, you're like, oh, no. Here it comes. You know what I mean? Like, I was a little sad. I thought, and they threw me. They did it on purpose, too, because remember, I called you right after we did the podcast, and I was like, damn it, I should have said Damian Wayne.
That was a good one. Yeah.
And I called you right after we did the podcast, and I'm like, we gotta do it again.
Yeah,
like, no.
edit that in.
Yeah, but, I thought it would have been, because in the beginning of the game, like when you're walking around and you see Joker kind of pop up places, he mentions Talia al Ghul like 5 times.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole time I was playing it, I was like, yes, I was right. And then I was a little let down that it was Jason Todd. Still a cool story. Still, a good way for Rocksteady to go out with that game.
And at least it works in the sense that, okay, that's a guy who can fight like that. That's a guy who's got that build. So it wasn't like you had to really change it. And they didn't go Clayface. They didn't make it Joker somehow. Like, Jason Todd works. That was fine. Mm-hmm. And I guess I should have known, in one of those missions where you're going after, I think, Harley Quinn, and he hallucinates and he sees Jason Todd and he's like, Jason, like you're dead. So at that point you realize that this game is not going with any kind of Red Hood storyline. Like, they haven't seen the Red Hood yet.
Right.
And at that point I was like, all right, so maybe you're not going to run into the Red Hood, killing people somewhere. So I was like, well, maybe it will be him. I also thought for a minute, because you lost Lucius Fox, I was like, well, maybe Lucius Fox has decided to take matters into his own hands.
It's some sentient robot with Lucius Fox, yeah.
Was there any villain not in the game that you wish was in the game?
Not in the game that I wish was in the game.
Can I give you mine?
What's that?
So
give me yours.
Because if you go in the evidence room, there's a lot of guys that you're not going to fight, but you fought in previous games. So, like, technically, Bane was in there, even, like, the ventriloquist and Scarface. Like, those guys were all in it. But I don't think, and I may have missed it, there was a single reference to Calendar Man. And I might be...
It's one of the Riddler trophies. Which, as you know...
You have gotten all of them.
I have gotten all of them.
I do want to congratulate you on that. Like, I don't know if it's the
win.
I don't know if it's the dorkiest thing in the world or the greatest thing in the world. But
the third time in my life I've 100% of a sandbox game. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
No, tack it up.
I was killing myself, and like finally, my brother's been playing a lot too, and he's telling me, oh, you gotta watch this kid's YouTube channel, and it's so much harder. I will tell the listeners, it's so much harder to watch a YouTube video and try to find stuff, like follow along as they do it.
Oh, yeah. No, forget that.
The easiest way to do it is, for you listening at home, is to, and here's my pro tip for you.
Ooh.
Just knock out as many informants. Just fly around. Like, take an hour. Fly around and take out as many informants as you can.
I would like to say I have better things to do, but in reality, I do
don't.
not. I do
You
not.
don't.
No, I might do that when I get home.
I know you're married and everything, but you don't have any kids or anything.
No. Just a dog.
Take an hour at a time.
And he'll sleep and watch me do it.
Exactly. So, that's the easiest way to do it, but Jesus, that took forever.
I do want to say that is impressive. So 100% complete. Ryan Davies finished Arkham Knight. On
hard
hard mode. That's nothing to sneeze at. I just played. I was just going through on normal, having a nice leisurely time.
Yeah.
I think I'm at 93%. I haven't fought Deathstroke. I still have a couple more I'm like stuck on this one tank battle. I'm like, what am I even doing with this?
Yeah. But if we were to talk about it, and I would say the one negative, that it was way too Batmobile heavy.
They forced it on you.
Yeah. A little too heavy on the Batmobile. Cool.
Cool.
Like to drive around the city with it, do my little like e-brake turns around the city. It's like shock people into the next fucking dimension. Oh, sorry.
That's fine.
Into
That'll play.
the next dimension. I like that, but
it is cool. I mean, it is cool because, you know, that's one thing obviously like a Grand Theft Auto has, or just anybody who's a fan of racing games. Like, you can drive around Gotham City. So, like, that's cool. But when there are so many of these missions where they're like, you better call the Batmobile, I'm like, well, I'd rather just grapple around and, you know, sneak up on people.
And there's some of them, the Riddler trophies you have to do with the Batmobile, and you have to do them in tank mode.
Right.
And that's brutal.
Yeah, that's tough. So it's funny because now I'm playing. I'm just like, and I'm sure you do the same thing when you're going through all the Riddler trophies. I'm just like cleaning up some of these, you know, like tank battles and like dudes that are on the roof and just you know, stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, this game's good, but it's like, no. Like several hours earlier, I would say this is one of the greatest games ever. But now I'm just doing sort of the busy work after, and so it gives you more hours. The other thing I was kind of disappointed with, I thought it was great that they gave you these downloadable contents. There's a Red Hood storyline and there was a Harley Quinn storyline, but you can hammer both of those out in 20 minutes combined?
Half hour.
Yeah, like it's pretty quick. Like, it's cool. It's fun to play with the different characters. That was another great part of the game. You know, you're teaming up with Nightwing, you're teaming up with Robin, you're teaming up with Catwoman. So to use other characters was cool.
I mean, and the combo takedowns are on the team up takedowns.
Yeah,
awesome.
Sweet. Your thought on the ending of the game? So again, once you lock up, I think like most of the bad guys that are out there, they call for the Nightfall Protocol. Which again, Nightfall is also the book where he gets his back broken by Bane. But Nightfall Protocol, he shows up, he smashes the Batman light into the sky, goes back home. Everybody, all the press is out there, Vicky Vale and the crew, and next thing you know, Wayne Manor blows up. And they assume he's dead. But then, if you haven't gone 100%, like our buddy Davey here, it just says, all right, go clean up the rest of the city, and then you can see the full ending. Right. So, you've seen the full ending. I, too, thanks to YouTube.com, have also seen the full ending.
Cheater!
At this point, I'm like, I wanted to talk about it, and I didn't want you to not mention it. Yeah.
So, obviously, they give you a little bit more of an extended ending, and you see, you know, Tim Drake calling, you know, Commissioner Gordon and asking him if he has the rings, and he's got Barbara and Tim on his, you know, as a screensaver on his phone, and it's all very cute and things like that. You know, that's a nice way to tie it up. No mention of Bruce Wayne. Oh, and Jim Gordon's the mayor.
Oh, yes.
And you see the signs that say like new mayor Jim Gordon. Good for him.
Oh yeah.
What a guy.
Sure.
He deserves it. What a warrior. You know. And you know, you have this scene which is very reminiscent, obviously, of the Batman origin story where a young man is walking into an alley with his two parents. Why would you ever walk down a dark alley in Gotham City? I don't know.
I wouldn't.
But, you know, the guy points a gun in their face. You have the familiar scene, you know.
She got the pearl necklace.
One of the things I was thinking about after we had spoken about doing this podcast, if you look, and I want you to go back and look at this and tell me if I'm crazy. The assailant pulls the pearl necklace off the mother.
Correct.
Now, what I see, and I noticed the animation looked a little weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't look right. It looks kind of like as he's pulling it off, like you see, and the pearls are in the shape of a V, which looks like the Nightwing crest. Tell me I'm crazy. Look at it again. Watch the footage. If I'm nuts, I'm nuts. I don't care.
Wait, it looks like the Nightwing.
Yeah,
crest?
It looks like If you look at it, it looks like a V when he pulls the pearls off her neck. I'm
going to it right now.
You're going, yeah. So I'll keep talking while you cue that up. So
here she comes down the alley.
And then you know you have this new that they look up and they say you can't be Batman. Batman's dead. And there's this Batman-like figure who does like this weird ghost smoke kind of thing. And it kind of looks like a Scarecrow Spider-Man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He grows up tall. It looks like he's gonna psych you out.
Maybe some of the fear toxin's still around, but then I got to thinking, and you know, maybe it was what's the kid's name? McGinnis, Terry McGinnis.
Terry McGinnis from what? Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond, and maybe it's Jason Todd because there is a lot of red there.
Could be Jason Todd. Could be even Nightwing, who you know, in the Black Mirror was a great story where he's Batman. Or couldn't it also just be Bruce Wayne?
It could
still
be. You know, it could be.
Like I think he just wants to terrorize people, but he's not going to make a big show of it.
And he wants everybody to believe that, he's dead, but Batman's still kind of out there.
Yes, I'll tell you.
He says something that when you finish and again, spoiler alert, sorry. But
no, the whole thing. That's fine.
When you beat the Riddler, who presumably is the last guy.
Yes.
You do so with Catwoman, and they have an exchange outside of the orphanage, and he says something to the effect of, Gotham needs something bigger than Batman.
Yeah.
He's a legend, more of a legend than I can be. So maybe he's like at the end of The Dark Knight Rises when he sacrifices himself. So the legend of the Batman becomes what's important. And now, am I crazy with that scene?
Yes.
I'm crazy? Okay.
I don't see it. What you're talking about with the pearls?
Yeah, the string of pearls looks like a V. And because you notice the animation looks kind of weird?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, okay. So maybe I'm looking too much into it. But
no, but I like that. I like going that extra mile.
Yeah, I'm always looking at stuff,
It's funny because when he does the bat symbol when he's kind of coming at you, it almost looks like what a Batman would look like if you were on Scarecrow Toxin.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
And it's sort of Red Hood-ish, but I think Red Hood has more of a beak or like a head. When you look at the outline.
More red.
It's more red also, which I think is fair. I don't know. It was a sweet game though.
Yeah, and he's got the all-black face, so that maybe it is a Batman Beyond situation.
But they also said this was going to be the last game they do.
Right. So that's a question that we're just going to have to ask ourselves unfortunately.
We shall
Now,
see.
this is the last game Rocksteady's doing.
Oh, right. So maybe that was a WB Montreal that did
Warner
Arkham
Brothers. Warner Brothers is
City?
going to do their own thing. So who knows?
Yeah, I'd play it. I mean...
Arkham Origins wasn't too bad.
Oh, yeah, Arkham Origins. Yeah, I thought it was fine.
But by far the weakest of the four.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right. Davey, any final thoughts? We did Comic-Con recap. We did Batman Arkham Knight recap. We're excited for Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah, so I'm going to see Ant-Man soon. Let me know if you see Ant-Man, and we can talk about Ant-Man.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks for
this is a goddamn pleasure as always.
It really is fun. Oh, this is every podcast I've ever listened to. They always at the end say, "Hey, make sure to subscribe to the podcast, or to leave a comment, or to give us a 5-star rating."
So make sure all 5 of you give us good things.
Both of you who made it through the 40+ minutes, have a good rest of your day or night. It's the podcast. You can listen to it whenever.
And have a better tomorrow.
Yes. That's some good words to end on. #dork.